Good evening from the Channel's newsroom in London. President Trump has been on the defensive following the launch of an impeachment inquiry. It was triggered by a complaint about a phone call in July where President Trump pushed his Ukrainian counterpart to investigate political rival Joe Biden. US media is reporting the whistleblower is a CIA officer who once worked at the White House. On Twitter, Trump hit back, saying, "I had a simple and very nice call with the new president of Ukraine. It could not have been better or more honorable." And the fake news media and Democrats, working as a team, have fraudulently made it look bad. It wasn't bad. It was very legal and very good. A continuing witch hunt.
Do I have your assurance that the whistleblower will be able to testify fully and freely?
He also accused the House Intelligence Committee chairman of lying to Congress. Adam Schiff totally made up my conversation with the Ukraine president and read it to Congress and millions. He must resign and be investigated. He has been doing this for 2 years. He is a sick man. The British Prime Minister has denied exploiting divisions and using aggressive language on Brexit. Boris Johnson, who has continually vowed that the UK will leave the EU on October the 31st, also dismissed suggestions he's looking for loopholes to dodge legislation designed to prevent a no-deal Brexit.
We will obey the law, but we're confident we can come out on October the 31st. And the best way to do that is to get a deal. And so that's why the Surrender Act is so damaging, because I won't hide it from you. It has had the effect with our European friends of making them think, maybe Parliament can block this thing. Maybe they will be forced to extend. And that, if you're in a negotiation, that obviously makes it more difficult.
So, John,
but we are still cautiously optimistic that we can do it.
A British-flagged oil tanker is on the move 2 months after it was seized by Iran. The vessel was taken in the Strait of Hormuz for allegedly breaking maritime rules 2 weeks after an Iranian tanker was held off Gibraltar with the help of UK Royal Marines. Saudi Arabia is relaxing its strict dress code as it opens its doors to international tourists. The kingdom has launched a new visa programme for 49 countries as part of its push to cut its economic dependence on oil. It hopes tourism, which currently makes up 3% of gross domestic product, will rise to 10% by 2030. Costing about $80, the visas will be available online with no restrictions for unaccompanied women, and they won't be expected to wear abayas.
The abaya is optional. We will definitely make it clear for people when they apply for visa, whether online or at the counter, they will know the dress code. But it is modest. We have a culture. We believe our friends and our guests will respect the culture, but definitely it is modest and it will be very clear.
Security is being stepped up in Afghanistan ahead of this weekend's presidential election. More than 100,000 troops and police have been deployed to guard polling stations after the Taliban threatened to disrupt the vote with suicide bombings and rocket attacks. President Ashraf Ghani is widely expected to win a second 5-year term. The country's Deputy Interior Minister says more than 400 polling stations are being closed over security concerns.
The provincial level, based on the intelligence and threat reports, decided that certain polling stations in districts will be closed. And there are many reasons for it. Some of it is transportation and geography of the country. Some of it is truly security threats. And some of it are just common sense in order to be conservative, where you can co-locate 2 locations into one, where we could provide better logistics as well as security services.
Zimbabwe's former president, Robert Mugabe, will be buried at his rural home this weekend. The government has now abandoned its plan to inter him at the National War Heroes Cemetery to respect his family's wishes. Mugabe, who ruled from independence in 1980, until he was overthrown in a coup in 2017, died at the age of 95 on September the 6th. He'll be buried in a private ceremony in the village of Kutama. And finally, the UK's Prince Harry has followed in his late mother's footsteps. The Duke of Sussex visited the site where 22 years ago Princess Diana walked through a partially cleared minefield in Angola. She worked to highlight the plight of people maimed by munitions.
2, 3, firing.
Prince Harry helped detonate mines in a location that was targeted by anti-government forces in the year 2000.
Firing!
Charity Halo Trust has been working to make the site safe since August and hopes to clear the area of mines by the end of October. And that's your international news around the world in 5.